This is the Palin Update on Mama Grizzly Radio. I'm Kevin Scholla.
She's not one who's going to be told to sit down and shut up and sit in the back corner and let the good old boys do what they've been doing all these years.
Governor Palin has endorsed some impressive people across the country, stumping for great candidates and conservative causes. Sarah Palin once again putting her sweat equity where her mouth is, making appearances for the hopefuls she's endorsing. Among those, Joni Ernst in Iowa. And today, Ernst joins us to talk about her campaign for U.S. Senate. Nebraska, known for the color red, goes red again, and Palin-backed Sass and Ricketts post big wins. A Palin candidate in Louisiana makes headlines for a new Gator ad. Palin weighs in on Obama's pathetic tweeting style and death panels. A brand new Commonwealth Common Sense with Susan Stimson is coming up, and just ahead our latest edition of Steel Resolve with Sarah Steelman. Before we get started, I want to welcome all of our listeners here to our new network, Mama Grizzly Radio. The Palin Update is bigger and better than ever, and we will continue to bring you the latest news on Sarah Palin each and every week, and we'll also continue to have great guests each episode. So for those of you who have listened to us for years on the other network, please make sure you head to mamagrizzlyradio.com so you won't miss a thing. And follow us on Twitter at Mama Grizz Radio. Also like Mama Grizzly Radio on Facebook. Now, speaking of Mama Grizzlies, let's get started with our very special guest. We say hello to Joni Ernst, the clear-cut best candidate running for Senate out of Iowa. She is in a contested primary, but she has the endorsement of the one and only Sarah Palin. Joni Ernst, it is a pleasure to have you here on the Palin Update on Mama Grizzly Radio. How are you?
I am great, Kevin. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, congratulations on the Palin endorsement. Really a no-brainer, if you ask me. You appeal to Governor Palin in so many ways. First, let's get your thoughts on the governor backing you.
Oh, my heavens. I was just absolutely ecstatic to have her endorsement. It is one that means so much. I view her, she is such a strong leader, and those are the types of people that we need in our federal government, and I would like to follow suit and be a strong leader in our federal government. But she is fantastic. I'm excited to have her on board, and I certainly appreciate her support.
Just love the castrating ad and the make 'em squeal slogan. It's just great. I find it very Palin-esque because it's certainly funny, but the message of cutting pork is very serious.
Yes, it is. We have a very serious message behind this particular TV ad, the squeal ad. But we do it with a little bit of humor. It is something that is so very Iowa, and it goes back to my farm roots and coming from an agricultural community, growing up on a farm. And so it is very much me, with a little bit of humor, but a very serious message that we do have folks that are big spenders in Washington, D.C., and we've got to stop that. And so, yep, I'm going to go to Washington, D.C. and make them squeal.
What separates you from the other candidates in the race?
Well, I think obviously a passion that I have. I am someone who is very much about service, and you can see that in my lifetime of service to my community, to my state, and my nation, and in many different forms, whether it's serving as a volunteer in different service organizations or as a soldier in the Iowa Army National Guard, and as a statesman at our state legislature here in Des Moines. I've served in many different capacities. I've always done what I believe is the right thing to do for the state of Iowa and my constituents, and that's really what I want to take to Washington, D.C. And I think by seeing a lifetime of service, conservative leadership, that really sets me apart from all of the other people in this race. I am the proven conservative and a great record of making Iowa a better place to be.
And the Palin endorsement certainly highlights that. How does your military background specifically help you as a Senate candidate and eventual senator?
Well, again, it starts with the military leadership aspect. Anybody that serves in the military is given opportunity to develop their leadership style. And so I've had a great 20-plus years of service in the United States Army Reserves, in the Iowa Army National Guard, and as a veteran of Operation Iraqi Freedom to develop those skills. But then also the worldview. Having served overseas in a combat zone, it really brings to me the first-hand knowledge of what it is to be a soldier engaged overseas on a very lengthy deployment, and then the readjustment coming back home and reintegrating with my civilian community and my family, understanding the importance of a strong national defense. So I think that's something that the military has prepared me for. I am always challenged by the military. I think it's a wonderful avenue. It has been for me, and I think that makes me an even stronger leader.
As the dad of a 5-year-old daughter, I love seeing people like yourself. You're true role models, jobs that maybe aren't always associated with women. Here you are, a soldier. Sarah Palin as a governor. We had Julie Golub on a week or so ago, who's the sharpshooter. I mean, it's just, this is great for girls, for people like yourself, like Governor Palin, to be out there in leadership roles, because not only will you be making common sense decisions that D.C. is lacking, but you're there, as that person that, a little girl in her classroom or in her home is going to be looking up to. And that's just amazing.
Yes, and when I was a very young girl, I had ideas of what I should be when I grew up. And some of those things I thought maybe I should be a nurse. Maybe I should be Miss America. Well, that didn't happen. But also being a farmer's wife, because that's what my mom was. But really, I knew that my parents taught me you can do anything that you want to do. You just have to work very hard to achieve it. And that's what I've done throughout my life, is set those goals and just know that I'm the one that has to make it happen, and to work very hard for that. So I do. Sometimes I look around a room when I'm at guard activities or other events. I look around the room, and not many women there, but I am honored to be a leader in those circles. So it's, again, something I want to take to the United States Senate. I think I bring a lot of very positive attributes, and we just need to move Iowa and the United States in the right direction.
You oppose any taxpayer funding of abortion, and your record is strong when it comes to life issues during your time in the state legislature. What will a U.S. Senator Ernst do for the pro-life movement?
Well, again, I am very pro-life, and that's something that I will stand strong on. And I know that I will join several others in the United States Senate that are also pro-life. And so whatever difference we can make, we will make that difference.
You also support traditional marriage. Marriage has been under attack. Why are you fighting for its preservation?
Well, I do believe that the best family unit is a strong traditional family unit. That's the way I grew up. That's the faith that I grew up in, and feel that that's the direction that we need to go. I loved having a mom and a dad, and growing up with siblings in Southwest Iowa on that farm, and I had the best childhood I think anybody could have, having parents that loved me and supported me, both a mom and a dad.
You're also calling for a repeal of Obamacare. Can that happen if conservatives get in the Senate? Because right now many Republicans have left Ted Cruz and others out to dry on that issue.
Well, I do think we can repeal it. Obviously, we have to gain the Senate back. But the key is repealing Obamacare, but replacing it. And we do have to have a plan in place to replace Obamacare, but make sure that it is with free market solutions. And there are solutions out there. Unfortunately, we have an administration that right now simply doesn't want to look at any free market alternatives.
Now, I love this. You want to scrap the tax code. What would replace it? Something less than 1 million pages, I'm hoping?
Absolutely. Let's get rid of the existing tax code. It is too difficult and too many loopholes. So what we have to do is look at something that's fairer, flatter, and simpler. And wouldn't it be nice? My husband and I just filed our taxes, and it took us hours to get our taxes done. And believe me, I have a very modest income, as does my husband. And for us to sit down and spend hours agonizing over taxes is ridiculous. It would be so nice to sit down and just be able to file taxes on one piece of paper. And right now we can't do that, and I don't know of many families that can. So it's definitely something that we have to work on, and it's going to take a lot of people working on this together. But, yep, absolutely, something that's fairer, flatter, and simpler.
Yeah, I mean, and even filing them, if you go to a tax preparer, a lot of the accountants, charge a lot of times per document sometimes. And, you're almost penalized. Well, do you work that second or third job because then I, get this stipend pay or get this different form that doesn't work? I mean, it's just so difficult for everyone when it should be such a simple procedure, as you mentioned. Now, another theme I'm seeing here from Palin-endorsed candidates, including yourself, is strong support for our Second Amendment. Can you talk about your feelings there?
Yes, Second Amendment. I think without the Second Amendment, we wouldn't have any chance of upholding any of the others. So I am a huge proponent of the Second Amendment. I am someone that has a permit to carry, and I've had my permit to carry for many years now. Having served in the military, of course, I am someone that does know how to handle rifles of different types as well as pistols, and I do carry. My husband and I exercise that right every day.
Our great friend Israel hasn't been treated too well by this administration. What's your stance on Israel?
Very pro-Israel, and they are the only democratic nation in that region, and we need to continue to uphold any of our agreements with Israel. We do need to protect them. They are great friends of ours. They are strong allies, and the way that they have been treated by this administration is absolutely horrible, and it's very hard for someone who comes from what I consider to be a fairly conservative state, standing by and watching how the Obama administration just really discounts the leadership that is in that region. We need to maintain our friendship with Israel, and I don't see that happening with our current administration.
She is Lieutenant Colonel Joni Ernst, running for U.S. Senate out of the great state of Iowa. Palin-powered now with the endorsement from Governor Sarah Palin. What's your website so we can get people to join your campaign? You
bet. It is JoniForIowa.com. JoniForIowa.com. Love people to jump on my Facebook site. I'd love for them to check out my website. We've got all of our issues posted there. Love to get information from people following our campaign, and love to hear their thoughts. And,
you're great on the issues, but what I really like about this campaign, too, I hear you auctioning off Joni Ernst snicker pies, and, right there, that was enough for me.
Yes, we had a great auction the other night, and I took a Snickers pie to, it was a County Central Committee meeting, and auctioned off the pie. It went for about $110, and the gentleman that bought it from me, he said, "Joni, you sell it again." So we turned around, he donated it back, we sold it again, got another $100 out of it, and just that one pie, we raised over $200 for just a small local Central Committee, and they are going to do great things with it, supporting our Republican candidates.
Well, make sure you tweet some of those pictures out to Michelle Obama and Mike Bloomberg and the food police along the way. And by the way, congratulations on that Iowa State run. I had them in my Final Four, and they had that unfortunate injury, but what a fun team to watch. And as a Bulls fan, I'm a big Hoiberg guy, but they were just really fun to watch, and just unique players there who weren't particularly big, yet everybody could post up. You talk about, instead of positions, they're just all basketball players.
Yes, and I love my Iowa State Cyclones. I am a Cyclone, and as a matter of fact, when I went to Iowa State University, the men's basketball team lived on the dorm floor right above my floor, and so we did have some basketball players right above my room, and they'd be bouncing their basketballs on the floor every night.
Well, there you go.
Get the old broom handle out and tap on the ceiling.
Yeah, and little did they know about
great people. They had a great run, and I'm so proud of them. They did an exceptional job.
Well, we appreciate you being here. And speaking of great runs, we look forward to what's to come here with you in this U.S. Senate race. Joni Ernst for Senate out of Iowa, endorsed by Governor Sarah Palin. Lieutenant Colonel, thank you so much.
Thank you, Kevin. Have a wonderful day.